Let's see. I think we are live. Let me refresh my... Yes, let me mute that. All right, cool. So what is going on, everybody? Welcome to random spur of the moment live stream here. We are just hanging out. Figured I'd do a live stream, see if anybody pops in. It's been a minute. We will give it time to let some stuff come through here. Let's see. What's up? Konnichiwa, konnichiwa. What is happening? I don't really have anything planned tonight. I'm not going to be doing like a live study or anything like that, but just wanted to hang out. I'm thinking of learning Japanese. Do it. Japanese is a fantastic language. You can kind of slowly get used to it, and it's all good. It can definitely make you struggle a little bit, but yeah, it's really, really cool. Oi, oi. What's up, Just Josh in Japan? Let's see. Seabolt, what up, bud? How's your progress going? Where are you at? Yeah, it's going really, really well. I made that video, how many ever days ago? Last week sometime. And what's weird is I got some comments about people who are like, oh, why aren't you doing immersion anymore? But I never said that I wasn't immersing. I just said I was kind of changing what I was doing a little bit. But what's funny is I've actually immersed more since I started that than before. And I think it's just kind of finding a system that works for me. It's going really, really well. I'm getting ready to pass 1,000 known words on Link. I know more words than that. It's just words that I've come across, which is really well. I've gotten into reading a bit, so I have been reading on there, just going through the mini stories, and then I import the lessons from Japanese Pod 101, like the dialogues that they have, so I'll study those as well. And yeah, just taking it slow by slow, watching YouTube videos. I'm actually going to make a video soon on studying subtitles on YouTube, because there's a super cool site where you can search just the subtitles. I'm going to show that. I was going to do it this weekend. I was talking to Yoga, because I'm actually going to show two different ways. I'm going to show importing through Link, and then I'm going to show using the Migaku web extension. And Yoga was like, well, wait, because I'm getting ready to do an update for that. And then you can do it that way, it's as clean as possible and stuff. And I was like, all right, cool. So this coming week, I'll show that. But yeah, I mean, I'm still going through my Tango deck and stuff like that. But for the most part, I'm just watching stuff, getting into studying subtitles and things like that. And it's going really, really well. What's up, Ahmad? Ahmad speaks. What's up, man? Welcome. But yeah, everything's going good, man. My Japanese is going... Honestly, I think kind of what I'm doing right now is probably the best that I've ever done. And realistically, even though I know that I had talked about doing some stuff and whatnot, but honestly, I think that I'm doing more so true to what the definition of what I was trying to do before is. So it's really good. Also, I'm kind of throwing in like a little bit of an idea of time boxing in as well. So, like if I'm watching a football game or something on Monday night, like I'll watch the play, and as soon as the play's over, I'll pop in and I'll do either Anki reps or read a couple of sentences on Link or something like that. And then boom, play pops up. All right, there's 20 seconds, and then boom, right back into it. And that seems to work. Or watch a YouTube video or anything like that, and it just seems to be working really, really well. I feel really, really good about what I'm doing. I was glad to see your video talking about on your new approach, having fun is the way to do it. Yeah, and that's honestly kind of the thing, is I found a system, because I'm picking up vocabulary faster now since I am reading, which is really, really cool. I'm really happy with that. And just going over stuff, a little bit more repeatedly, and it's I don't know. I'm really happy with the way that I'm doing, and some of the stuff that I'm learning via Link, just being able to recognize certain patterns has been really, really cool. Like I had made a tweet today, like even just picking up some of the stuff, like some of the things, like for example, like used to indicate deciding to do something, which would be you would use like some sort of, whatever you're talking about, like deciding to do something in like koto ni shimasu or koto kimemasu, like just slowly learning some grammatical patterns, and everything's going really, really well. I've been learning Spanish for a little while now, I'm nervous about starting to read. Any suggestions? Just jump in, man. Like Spanish, the cool thing about that is like there's so many words that reading I think you'll have an easy time with. Like there's words that even though you don't know, you'll just pick up by context because of how similar Spanish is to English. And it's honestly, the more that you do it, the more rewarding it is. Last night, I opened up Link and I read the first mini story. No furigana, just kanji, the way that it's written. No audio either. Just read it straight through the way that it was. And it was such a rewarding feeling. Like now that I've finally gotten into it and I'm getting a pattern set up, and it just feels really, really good. And I mean, just overall getting into it. One thing that helped me is I kind of forced myself to get into reading in English, and basically what started this entire event was I started reading the Percy Jackson series of books. It's super random, but I basically decided, I was like, all right, I want to read, and I love series, like I love Harry Potter and stuff, so maybe if I get into something like that, it'll help me want to read more. And so I bought the first book on Kindle and I read it. It took me a little while to do. As a matter of fact, I bought it in October. I don't remember when I started it, but I finished it on November 1st. And then things just kind of steamrolled. I've read 2 shorter books. I've read 2 Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. There's 3 of them. I've read the first 2. And then I read the entire second Percy Jackson book in less than a week. And then I read another book called Fantastic Land, which is about basically a theme park that is flooded in by Hurricane Sadie, and basically just chaos breaks loose. It's a really, really, really cool book. And so as I slowly started getting into this stuff, it made me want to start reading in Japanese a little bit more. And then that's kind of what started it. So I got, like, I'm not saying I'm fully into it. I am still reading. I'm reading right now. I'm waiting for my wife to finish book 2 of Percy Jackson, and then we're going to read through book 3 together. But I'm reading a book called Max in the Multiverse right now. And while I'm at work, I usually will listen to some stuff. Like, that's actually where I read Fantastic Land, is I listened to the audiobook. But so I will do that kind of stuff, like listening to stuff as well, and that has helped. But I'll probably read or listen to another book here at work soon, and I don't know. Getting into it in English has helped, has made me want to continue to do it in Japanese, and I think that's the biggest thing, was creating that habit. So let's see. I'm learning Spanish. Maybe also Google some graded readers in Spanish. Yeah, definitely, for sure. Yeah, that would definitely. Because you can import those. Well, you can just read the graded readers, but you can also import those. Should be able to import those into Link, depending on what it is. Also, Aaron from Fingtam has a book that is Spanish related. I thought I had it on the table here, but I do not. But yeah, go check out Fingtam Languages. He has a Spanish book that's, I mean, it's essentially like a graded reader, so that would be something to check out too. It's called. I wish I could just find it. Why is it not? I don't remember where I put it. I think I put it in my bedroom with my other books, but yeah, you can check that out. I have Kindle Unlimited, and they have a good selection of graded readers. Heck yeah, do that. I mean, graded reader, that's something I do want to get into in Japanese. I think once I finish the mini stories, I've got 18 left. I think I'll probably get into some graded readers. I have a preview for one on my Kindle, actually. But I noticed right off the gate, it's not written by someone who is Japanese, which I'm not saying that I have a problem with that. My issue is on the very first page there is a typo. Yeah, it says let's see, where's it at? Let me go back to the first page. Yeah, so konnichiwa is misspelled in this book. It is spelled konnichiwa. Technically, it is spelled the way that it would be written, like with the wa, but konnichiwa is spelled with an HA and not the WA for konnichiwa. So right out of the gate, I'm not sure that I want to trust that, but how have you been learning the kanji readings? So I went through the first 1,000 characters on RTK, remember the kanji, which that didn't necessarily help me to read them, but it helped me to recognize them. And then honestly, I've been reading on Link and just see, because I go through the story. I don't just go through the story once and forget it. Like I'll go through it, and then I usually go through it the next day, and then after a couple of days, and I'll slowly kind of do that. And actually this week, I'm actually thinking about just spending a lot of time going over and intensively going through the stories that I know, and just seeing it so much has just made it stick. Like for example, the character for like To Wake Up. Let me pull it up real quick. Or actually, I guess I could just type it in the chat here. But like for example, Japanese keyboard. Okay, that's not what. That is not what I need either. I need till there we go. Okay. Yeah. So like this right here, you're gonna see it, and there's gonna be a delay. Like so, seeing that right there, just reading it over and over and over and over is I don't know, just seeing it over and over. Like I just know what that is now. Is it used in different contexts? I mean, there's probably a very good chance of that, but for what I've read right now, I can recognize that within context, and I don't have to have the furigana or anything. So it's honestly just the constant repetition. I do think there is something to be said for RTK of getting you used to those characters, but I've probably forgotten more than I know in terms of just learning through that, and just the constant exposure of reading and reading and reading. I don't know. It's just been incredibly helpful to do. It's just constant exposure of the language. I know that people joke about it all the time, but I mean, it literally is just the idea of getting used to it, like just constant exposure. I'm reading subtitles still, forces me to keep quick pace. Finally got around to watching Bakuman and could read and comprehend almost all the first episode. Feels good. Last year struggled on it. Yeah, that's, I mean, always, seeing that improvement, that actually helped me a lot recently, going through that first mini story on Link and being able to read it without having to hear it. I didn't have to have the audio to help me along. I actually just today marked the last study word as known. So there's no unknown words. I know all of it. And just being able to read it without the furigana, just being able to read it as it would be written, man, it's so rewarding, and it motivates you to keep going. That is for sure. Good to see you back on one of these talking languages. Oh, and it's been I've had a struggle of a last month and a half or so, but Mark actually, Language Come Up is somebody, like when I kind of was trying to figure out what I was doing. Man, me and Mark had a Skype call and talked for like 2.5 hours, and it was just me just being like, he helped me out so much. Just being able sometimes to just spitball ideas and just talk about what you're going through, man, helps so much. So I'm back on the right path, man. And I, to be 100% honest, since we talked and I started kind of that new system, man, konnichiwa. I really feel like I've made more progress, and I owe a lot of it to reading for sure. Like just I know people talk about it all the time, and I was always like, man, it's so hard for me to get into. But getting into reading in English, and then finally getting into being able to do it in Japanese, man, I feel like that's just, man, I feel like it's skyrocketing. I mean, I'm not good. I'm not saying I'm good. Don't take that out of context. I really think that's helped tremendously. Hey, what is going on? Dixie Normus. Fair enough. Clever username. It's been a struggle for me too. I haven't immersed in like a month. Yeah, I mean, I definitely get... Oh, I didn't realize that. I think my picture is way bigger than it needs to be. It definitely is. Hold on, let me... Alright, there we go. Sorry, that's weird for you guys probably. Boom. There we go. Yeah, you can go through stuff, and I went through phases where I didn't, and then I did, and then I didn't, and then I did. I can actually bring this down now a little bit. But, yeah, man, it's the constant struggle, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Just go through. If you're not feeling it, don't do it. Don't force yourself to do it, and then once you get back into it, boom, go. You're good to go. Have you ever watched one of your past videos speaking about Japanese when you felt you wouldn't get to where you are now? So I've never done that, but I have watched stuff, or not watched stuff, but when I go through, for example, today I marked the last word in the mini story, which is kotoyona, which is like in the first mini story, and it's seeing that there are no yellow words anymore. Is so big. Like, that's such a huge thing to me. And like seeing where I am, I can't remember what I was gonna look and see what the next one is, like the story 2, but like seeing that there are no more word, like I fully know that one now, right? Like, and that is such like I remember starting. Like I remember starting, and I remember I don't know. I remember really, really struggling with that, and I remember not ever thinking that I was going to get to where I could understand all of it, and here I am, and it's just a slow progression. But yeah, I do. What just happened? Oh, but yeah, I see things like that just with what I'm doing. For example, which I haven't used Lingo Deer in a little bit, but with Lingo Deer, I remember feeling like I would never finish the N5 grammar, and then I did, and now I'm working through the N4 grammar. Just stuff like that, man. It's just you have to step back and kind of and think sometimes, like, this used to be completely foreign to me, and it's still foreign, but not quite as much. So it definitely happens. Now that I'm kind of more so just back on track and going full force, I took a little bit of, not that I took a little bit of time off, but it's that I really kind of slowed down because I was starting to go into burnout and not really know what I was doing. But getting back on track, man, and seeing how much more I know now and being able to pick up patterns, that's the big thing too. Like, seeing so many things where I'm like, okay, these aren't just random parts. Like, this goes together. Like, this goes together as a construction, as a grammar construction. And even if I don't know what it means, just recognizing that it is a pattern, like, just stuff like that, man, is just, it makes me feel really, really, really good. Let me see. Edit this, and boom. So, but yeah, I mean, everything is going pretty well. Hopefully we can get back on track. I am going to be doing an interview soon with Abigail from Polyglot Progress. I've been talking to her, so there's going to be some stuff, definitely going to be some stuff coming up. Like, we're kind of back in the we're back in the home stretch of just feeling good and ready to go, ready to rock and roll. You were burning out, I could notice. I'm sure. I didn't think I was, and it kind of just hit me all at once. But that's the thing. Sometimes you can't tell stuff about yourself, and other people can. So I'm sure there were people who were like, "You're headed down a rocky path, man." I'm just happy that I came back faster, and I didn't swap language. Like, that's the thing. Like, I've grown so much as a language learner. In the past, it would have been, oh, I'm burnt out, so I guess it's just immediately time to swap over to X language, whatever. But man, I stuck with it. I burned through, and everything is going super, super good. Instead of taking time and being like, well, I'll just study Spanish or French or whatever for a few weeks, I decided to just stick with Japanese, doing a little bit of time, each day, just to stick with it, kind of, but not really force myself into anything. And then boom, we're right back. So every time I think I'm done with Japanese, man, it comes back stronger than before, and it comes back faster. So, which I didn't think I was done, but you know what I mean. Like, I definitely going through some struggles, but instead of doing my typical Seabolt routine of being like, all right, time to swap to another language, I just wrote it out. Excited for the Abigail interview. Yeah, I'm really, really excited about that. I love her. I'll watch the interview. Yeah, I'm excited. I am excited. I know that she had just posted on Twitter that she was, I think, taking a little bit of time off to do some stuff or whatever. And, I told her that I was kind of relaxing for a little bit as well. But hopefully in the next couple of weeks, get some stuff set up, because she's a super, super smart lady. Boom. Some of my headphones. You alright? So I'm not sure, like, and I'm gonna do these streams and stuff. Maybe I'll do some live streams now, especially from where we're doing a lot of reading. I can live stream those. It's hard to do live streams of your study when you're doing nothing but watching TV because of the copyrights and stuff. But from where I'm getting some reading and stuff in, maybe I can do some of that as well. Ethan Entertainment, hello. What is going on? Welcome to the stream. Are you drinking Coke or Pepsi? I am drinking off-brand. Hold on, it's in the trash can. I'm drinking off-brand diet. Diet Dr. Wow. Yeah. I'm drinking that because like when I bought this, it was close to payday, and I didn't want to splurge $2 for Diet Dr. Pepper, and Food City has their brand of soda for 79 cents, so it's Diet Dr. Wow. Which I don't drink as much. I drink about a gallon of water a day, so it's actually pretty rare that I drink. You all right? You getting some? Huh? But yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Good old Japanese. Yeah, and then today I'm pretty pumped. As you all probably know, I'm a wrestling fan. But AEW just announced their wrestling video game, which I'm excited about. Just random conversation. That's actually what I was doing right before I came on here. Was watching they did like a fake press conference, which was pretty rad. So. Seabolt, did you know diet soda makes you eat more? I had to cut it out because it makes me crave carbs. I've actually heard people talk about that. I know exactly what you're talking about, but it's never affected me too bad. I don't get overly hungry because I 100% know what you're talking about. Like, I feel like I have had that before, but ever since I switched to a keto / low carb diet, it doesn't affect me like it used to. But I definitely know exactly. I know Dr. Perky. I know what you're talking about. But yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about, Julie. Like for sure. Because they say that's part of the reason that you can't. Like it can actually make you crash to the point of eating more than you would have before. I know exactly what you're talking about. My dad buys something called Dr. Perky, which is just crappy ripoff of Dr. Pepper with a strange name. Yeah, it's like the like Save-A-Lot brands, like Dr. Perky. Like here, I don't know. Well, Save-A-Lot went out, but there was a store that carried a bunch of stuff like that. And there would be like Mountain Holler, like which is Mountain Dew, and like Dr. Perky. I know what you're talking about. That might be like the Big Lots brand or something. I know what you're talking about though. Those are funny. I love some of those soda names. There are lots of studies on it. No, it's very, very interesting. Yeah, because it's the sugar, and that's the thing too. Like that's why they don't know if it breaks your fast either. Sometimes, like depending on your body type, because from where it's fake sugar, your body thinks that you're still getting regular sugar. Yeah, it's a whole big thing. Maybe write a paragraph of Japanese of your own story, real or fake, in a live stream and have corrections while you do it. That's not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Hits different when you're older or recently cut off almost all carbonated beverages. Even carbonated water would make me bloat. I can get that. I've tried, man, but I like my Diet Dr. Pepper too much. I'll drink 1 or 2 a day, usually 1, but sometimes 2, like glasses. And with the gallon plus of water I drink a day, it seems to be working okay. Maybe one day up. This is a really hard rain. We'll see though. Maybe. But I like it, man. I enjoy it. It's a guilty vice, guilty pleasure. I don't know what you want to call it. Sparkling water is an amazing way to ruin perfectly good water, for sure. I can't like LaCroix and stuff, man. Ugh. Blech. I don't like it. Kudos to anybody that does, though, because if you can do that and actually cut soda out, kudos. But man, I can't. Oh, I can't stand the taste of it. I know you like not understanding the media you're watching, but do you see yourself getting more selective of the types of movies and videos in Japanese that you watch? I mean, the only thing I've watched recently, I haven't watched any TV shows or anything recently. The only thing I've been watching is YouTube. YouTube's the only thing that I've been watching recently. And specifically, the main thing that I watch, and it's because there is so much familiar vocabulary, is a chick called Haruan. And she just does cooking videos. I'm really sad her videos don't have subtitles. I wish I could find something similar to hers that does. Because, like, it's just her presentation and stuff is so... Like, she's so good at what she does. She speaks really, really clearly, and I don't know, it's just done really, really well. And I watch her all the time. Her videos are like 17, 18, 19 minutes a piece. Sometimes they're like 10 or 12, but a lot of times it'll be like 15. So it'll be like watching a TV show, man. But from where so much of that vocabulary is like food vocabulary, so it's a lot of it is understandable to me. And then you get on top of like, oh, mix this or sprinkle this or whatever. And so it's I really, really, that's what I've been watching a lot of lately. I haven't even been watching a lot of Mario Maker stuff lately. It's literally just been like those cooking style videos. Do you know what VPNs work for Japanese Netflix? I do not. I know I have ExpressVPN, and I've had Nord, and I've had... I think that's the only two. And neither one of them worked. Nord may now. Express may now. But when I used them, they did not. Which is a shame. I think Netflix is actually trying to cut down on that just as a whole, which sucks. But, you know, because I know that when I would switch it to Japanese, it would basically take everything on Netflix and just complete. Like it would have like 4 shows on there. I wish they would just get Japanese subtitles for the there's a massive just hair sticking out of the side of my face right here. For the shows, like it gets so Express didn't work at all for me. Yeah, it's so irritating going in there and being like, all right, let's watch this show, and they're like, well, we have subtitles in Spanish for this Japanese show, and I'm like, okay, that doesn't help me at all. Why would you not have the Japanese subtitles? It's a Japanese show. But who knows, man? They're gonna keep raising the prices and not fixing stuff. Nord works sometimes, but you might have to disconnect and reconnect to a different server. Yeah, that's stupid. I wish it would. That's like one of the main purposes of getting a VPN. Outside of, I guess, like, internet security. But, like, for real, most people get a VPN so they can access stuff from different countries. I use TourGuard. You have to contact support and they'll give you a huge discount on a dedicated IP address, which does work. You can also combine it with the half-off coupon. It ends up being $8. Holy crap. That is super, super cheap. I trust William. William turned me on to the Migaku web extension. I watched his video on just a quick review of it, and I was like, all right, I'm going to go sign up to the Patreon right now because that looks freaking awesome. So William is a dude that you can trust. That is probably high-quality information right there. TourGuard. I've never heard of it. I'm gonna try that. Yeah, try that out. I would be interested. I might try that out too. Once I get back, I'm not gonna do it right now because I need to get back into the idea of watching more TV shows. But man, right now I've just been going through YouTube videos with subtitles. I try to watch a show in French with French subtitles. However, the subtitles are not really what the character is saying. Ah, interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, that's well, that's weird. Is written French? I don't know much about French. Is written French much different? Like, I know, like, obviously, like, Arabic, it would be different. And I know that if you're watching, if I'm not mistaken, I think if you're watching something in Cantonese, I think the subtitles are still in, like a more so standard, I guess, like, mainland China. But, I mean, like, Mandarin. They're not in Mandarin, but it uses the same symbols, I guess. But, like, Is French different written versus spoken? I know like Finnish is. I know Finnish apparently is pretty different from written and spoken, but that's interesting. It's worse when you know they have the Japanese subtitles, because I just watched it using the VPN. They already have the files. I just refuse to let it. Yeah. No, I know. That's stupid. I don't like it at all. I wish they would not do that. Like I said, I get irritated because Netflix is they consistently jack their prices up, and then they take shows off, and then like the shows that you're subscribing to, because it's a Netflix original, they end up canceling, and it's just a whole big giant mess. Tour guide is also the one of the few that has proof that they don't give logs. Ooh, interesting. That sounds like the one to maybe go for. Yeah, it's annoying when the subtitles don't match the audio. Yes, yeah, for sure. Emmy Queen said something and retracted the message. What did you say, Emmy? I just had that with Batman Begins. The Japanese subtitles are for the spoken English dialogue. For those Japanese natives watching, it's dubbed. Do you see yourself changing your approach method after the 1 year mark? I don't know. I mean, because I've kind of changed it a little bit now. I think for the foreseeable future, I'm going to stick with the reading and then just importing like different subtitle files and things into Link and just try to read through some stuff, because that's seeming to help a lot, honestly. Shows dubbed into your target language don't use 1-to-1 subtitles. Only shows that were made in the target language have the 1-to-1 subtitles. Gotcha. So yeah, so you're saying if you were to watch, yeah, just whatever movie that's not in, say, Japanese, and they subtitle, it's not going to be exact. I see what you were saying. What do you think about Duolingo? I think it's fine. I think as a matter of fact, I talked to Mark about this the other day. I don't use it for Japanese or anything, but I think if you use, especially if you're learning Spanish or French or Italian or German or something like that, I think it's perfectly fine. And I think especially if you use it the way that it's intended to be, I know that the marketing kind of makes you think that it's supposed to be your like core, program, but I think if you can get into your head that it's not, and it's just a supplement, and just use it a couple of lessons a day and then go out and do some other stuff, I think Duolingo's fine. I mean, it gets you repetition, and especially a language like, I think a lot of this, like Spanish specifically, I think has a lot of maybe native audio. I don't think it's all the computer generated stuff, although I could be completely wrong. The Japanese course is very... I've dabbled with it occasionally, and it's cool because it does give me kanji practice, which is, fine for what it is, but I don't think it's a good Japanese course, because it's designed for European, Latin-based languages, like the actual program, like the actual software itself. Is it worth it? Yeah, I think if you use it the way that it's intended, I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's absolutely, I think it's fine. Seabolt, what's up? Hey, what's up, man? How are you doing? I've been on Japanese Pod 101 lately. Yeah, that's the same here. I usually do 1-2 lessons a day. I didn't do any today, actually, which it's only 9:30, but yeah, I usually do 1 to 2 lessons a day. Nothing crazy. I'm not trying to complete the entire course in a month. Like, I'm just, I just do a grammar lesson or 2 here or there, and I import if there's words in it that I don't know in the dialogue, I import it into Link, I study it, and just go on. Seabolt, the burnout experience you just had is normal. You'll have them every few months, weeks, if it's anything like my experience. They happen less and less as you start understanding more and more, and immersion becomes less taxing mentally. Glad you got through it. Yeah, I mean, so when I first started on this journey in April, I just talking to Matt, and he said, it's gonna happen. It's gonna come. Like, you're gonna get to a point where you just don't want to go, and he said you just have to you just have to fight through it. And that's what I did, Like I said, I normally go through this phase where I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I guess it's time to go to Spanish, or I guess, yeah, I even talked about it in that video where I was like, maybe I was going to do this, maybe I was going to do that. And then ultimately I decided not to, because I promised myself Japanese was it. I've promised look, I'm not saying I don't owe you guys anything, but like at the end of the day, I'm here for myself. Like, I'm here to make sure that I'm happy. But, I promised my viewers, like, Japanese is it this time. And, I stuck with it. Instead of jumping to another thing, I just took Japanese a little bit easy. I went a little bit easy. I decided that I was going to just at least go through my Anki reps, not even necessarily add new cards, but just kind of rep it a little bit. If I feel like watching something in Japanese, I might watch 5 or 10 minutes and just slowly, progressively, just got into it. And man, it worked. It worked perfectly, because now I'm back. I'm motivated. And it's just working really, really well. I'm really, really happy that I got through it. And I appreciate that. Pretty much everybody seemed to be understanding. And I think, a lot of times I see comments and I don't think... the problem with the internet is you can't tell the tone that someone's taking, right? You can't tell the intonation in their voice. Even for example, if you're talking to your friends, if somebody says something, you're like, oh man, you're a douche. That's in sarcasm, and that's also in a way of like, oh man, stop being crazy, right? But if you're like, dude, you're a total douchebag. Like, there's a big difference in the way that the intonation is there, And so I think a lot of times when I read these comments, I take them out of context or the way that they're intended. And I've tried to be a lot more open and honest just within my looking at comments. But everybody seemed to be pretty understanding. Like I said, there was one guy that left a comment, and I tried to tried to explain to him like, hey, that's not exactly what I'm saying. And he ended up deleting the comment. I wasn't trying to fight him at all. I was just trying to explain to him that what he thought was happening wasn't what was happening. And then a lot of that actually goes to help me try and make better videos, because, sometimes I do leave stuff out. And that's honestly just par for the course with my channel. I don't script things. That's not who I am. I don't script things. I don't have the teleprompter. I don't have any of that crap. I speak from the gut. I speak from the heart. And sometimes I leave out crucial information. So... But yeah, everybody seemed to be really, really cool, and understanding, because I think the unrealistic expectation that you can go just hours and hours and hours, 8, 10, 12, 15, 16 hours a day, every day for 5 years. I mean, sure. Am I saying that there are people that can do? Yeah, absolutely. There's people that can do that. But I think the average human, I don't necessarily think that's realistic. And I think setting an expectation of yourself to do that, I think, is setting yourself up for failure. I'm speaking this isn't even in relation to what you said. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm glad I got through it. I always had the impression that Duolingo was more for people who want to pick a few phrases in a language rather than learn a language. I mean, like I said, I think if you use it for the way that it's intended to be used, just a couple minutes here or there, a couple minutes here or there, I think it's perfectly fine, I think it's okay. I think if you use it the way it's intended, yeah, I think it's fine. I just love seeing Japanese pods sleep learning videos. Yeah, no, those get recommended to me all the time too. Still doing italki. What do you usually do with your tutor? Yeah, so I'm actually when I was going through my burnout phase, I did not. Because I knew that would be a waste. Because I bought a pack of lessons. I still have 4 lessons left that I can take. In the pack that I had bought, and I really, really need to get back on that. But again, I didn't want to go so hard that I got I was wanting to get through that burnout, and I was wanting to give myself a week or 2 of getting back into it before I started booking lessons again. So yeah, I'm going to resume those very, very soon. Basically, I'll send the tutor maybe several topic points that I want to discuss, specific maybe words that I want to know, and she's going to come up with sentences based around those words and phrases that I want to learn, and then just practice them. You're still talking to a tutor. Word jinxed. What does Matt mean when he said that Japanese Pod 101 is fake baby Japanese? I'm not sure. If I had to guess, probably something about how it's not necessarily always the way that Japanese is spoken, and it's like kind of like an audio course for textbook Japanese, but at the level that I'm at, I feel that it's pretty beneficial. But that's my guess. I don't actually know what he means by that, but that's my guess. Yeah, burnout seems pretty inevitable. I still haven't made it back to my old 6-hour goal I started slipping on months ago. Yeah, it's it's hard, man. And that's the thing. Like I've always wanted to just make learning Japanese work for me. I wish this was my full-time job. Like I wish that I could just spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours on end studying Japanese, but I can't. But if I can spend a couple hours a day, an hour a day here, if I can only spend an hour a day here, then that's perfectly fine. But yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, if this was my full-time job, I feel like part of the luster of my channel would fade, because part of the allure of my channel is that I'm just a normal dude. Like I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't want to have the idea that I can become fluent faster than the other dude. I want people to know what it's like being a normal human being with a normal life and a job trying to learn a language. So at the same time, I'm really happy that it is the way that it is, but burnout is tough too. Even studying, the way that I was doing, which I was doing basically about 3 hours a day, like actively, passionately studying on average 3 hours a day, and sometimes more, and still happens. What do you think about the French Duolingo course? I'm currently taking it and try and become fluent in French. I think the French course is fine. I think any of the Latin-based languages are fine. I definitely think that you need, just, have other stuff to do, right? I think that it's just it's a supplement, don't let that be your main learning software. What are your overall thoughts on the link update? I like it. I don't use it much. I know that sounds really stupid because since I'm in the beta, but it's just because like I used it for a bit. There are some bugs, but that's literally what we're testing for. And I told those bugs and the issues, and they pretty much fixed them immediately, and it works okay. But yeah, I like it. I'm anxious for them to get it. It's got a smoother look, that's for sure. I know everybody complains about the interface. I think it's really nice looking. It's very sleek. Some of the just some of the things that they've added are, pretty cool. Like just the way that even you tap on a word and like even the scale system looks a little bit cool. I don't know. I like it. I think it's going to be really, really cool. And I think once it's like done and quote unquote stable and ready to be released, I think people are going to dig it. That's for sure. But I like it so far. How fast do you think I'll progress if all I do is make 50 German links a day? If that's all you do, probably not quick. You definitely need to go over those lessons and make sure you're getting that vocabulary. And that's the thing too. I wouldn't concentrate necessarily on the 50 links a day. Like if you look at my link, it doesn't look like I have a great streak, which I don't necessarily care about streaks, but that's because some days I don't concentrate on adding new words to like unknown words that I've seen. Like obviously I would like to do that every day, but some days I really just want to like hone in on what I've been studying the past week and just kind of go, a little bit hard. For example, if I do lessons 35 through 40, maybe one day I don't feel like adding anything new, and maybe I'll read lessons 35 through 40, a couple of times just to get, just to get better. What's better, Anki or Memrise? I think it depends on what your goals are. I'm going to be 100% honest. I think Memrise is great. My biggest complaint with Memrise is that it is a freaking flashcard app that you can't make flashcards on your phone. You have to be on a desktop to do that. I think that is, in my opinion, the biggest flaw, and the main reason that I use Anki is because of that. I think that is absolute criminal. Like, that is not good at all. I was hoping to have Ed Cook, the guy, the co-creator of Memrise. He said he would do an interview, and I emailed him, and he never answered. Maybe he watched some of my videos talking about not using Memrise, but I genuinely like Memrise. I just think that there's a couple of issues. Like, you can't run a flashcard app and not allow people to make flashcards. Like, you know what I mean? That's inexcusable to me. But I do think Memrise is great. But I do think Anki has a lot more from where it's, I mean, like an open source thing. There's just so much more you can do with it. Memrise is definitely prettier, if that's what you're looking for. It's also great that you're not already completely fluent. It's difficult for audience members to relate to those who are near the end of their fluency journey than those who are just starting. I think people forget that sometimes. I think some of the comments I get are people who are forgetting that that's the purpose of what I'm doing. Like, I think people are like, oh man, you're doing this wrong or you're doing that wrong. Well, dude, that's literally that's what I'm doing here. I'm figuring out what I'm doing. That way in a few years, you know, whenever I get to a comfortable level, people can, like, and people are like, what did you do? I can be like, look, I know it would be a long watch. You can literally watch my every thought throughout the entire course of what we're doing here. Like, and that's, you know, I think when I get some of the comments that I get, I think people forget that that's what this channel is for, is to show the progress, the ups and the downs, and things like that. If I could be on 100% of the time, dude, that would be awesome. But I'm a normal human being. I can't be, you know? But I appreciate you saying that, because, I mean, it lets me know that what I'm doing is, you know, for, you know, good. And I mean, and that's what I want. I want people to understand that it's, you know, just a normal thing, man. Just a normal everyday dude, and there's ups and downs. The only thing stopping me from using Link right now is the UI. Fully understandable. I don't mind it. I like, when I use it, I can see what people's issues are. It's just never bothered me. But, you know, I fully get it. It can definitely be a little bit weird. So, links. What are you looking for links for, William? Are you looking for links to Link? Jeremy Gore. What's up, Jeremy? Welcome, dude. Eric Parrish, message retracted. Have you considered starting to mine sentences again? Yeah, so I'm actually going to... Oh, wait, hold on. Or will you now go with the Tongo Dex? So I'm still doing the Tongo Dex, but I'm going to be mining sentences again, because I'm actually going to make a video about that this weekend, about what I'm doing with, like, YouTube subtitles. And so, you know, sometimes if it's a shorter video, I'll probably pull that video into Link and just go through the subtitles just line by line. But I'm also going to use the Migaku web browser extension to just do like +1 sentences in sentence mining, because the web extension, hopefully, honestly, I need to check my my OBS is still being weird and won't let me record just my display. So hopefully I can get that fixed, because I really want to show that stuff. So, but yeah, I am going to start doing more sentence mining since I've, I mean, you know, gotten to a little bit better of a level. So that's something I do want to do. But I am doing the Tongo Dex too, or at least finish Tongo in 4, which I'm struggling with a little bit. Like, there's some, I can't think of anything right off. Like, I wish I could, but there's some stuff that pops up. The N4 deck is a lot less +1 sentences than the N5 deck was, which I think shows A, where my level was, and B, where my level is definitely not. So I think that's part of the problem. But yeah, I think I think it's definitely something that I want to do, is at least finish that. You should watch a certain scientific railgun. That show is nuts. It's on Netflix. I've never heard of that. But I will. A certain scientific show. It's on Netflix, Japan. Cool. I will check that out. I'm always looking for new stuff, for sure. For sure. I wonder if I was going to say, I wonder if the Percy Jackson books are in Japanese. I'm sure they are, but... Boom, there it is. Because I find that those books are a little bit easier to read than Harry Potter. Like, they're definitely more for a child audience. How has your listening comprehension been recently? I would say it depends, but I mean, I still feel like I'm getting better. I mean, there's times where I'll hear something and I'll have to really stop and be like, I know what the crap that means. What does it mean? And I'll have to really, really think about it. But I mean, it's not, I'm not understanding 100%. I'm probably not even understanding 10%, but, I feel like it's definitely better than where it was. That's for sure. And I think just with more listening, it will get better. Percy Jackson is great. Yeah, I love some Percy Jackson. I've only read the first two, but like I said, I'm waiting on my wife to finish the second book so we can start the third one. But Percy Jackson is what breathed. Hold on, what am I trying to say here? Percy Jackson is what breathed the life of reading into me. There we go. That's the reason I enjoy reading, is because I read that first book and I was like, all right, this is cool. And then boom, it's just been reading. Wait, are you reading Percy Jackson in Japanese? No. Or that what got you into your English reading habit? Yes. And you're reading specific Japanese article on link. Yeah. So I'm not reading Percy Jackson in Japanese. I'm reading it in English. But that is what... So like I said, I knew that I wanted to get into reading. And I wanted to pick something easy, something fun. And I knew that it would be easier to build that habit in English first. And I'm not saying it's a habit. I've been reading for not even a month, right? I have read 5 books, but I've been reading less than a month. So I'm not saying it's a habit yet. It's something I still have to work on. But I knew that it would be easier getting into in English and then in Japanese. And so that's what I wanted to go for that. And now that I got into English, that's when I started adding link back in. And I was like, all right, let's start reading a little more regularly. Right now I'm going through the mini stories in the Japanese Pod 101 dialogues that I import. Because I still feel like, I don't know if my level, like if I would import like NHK Easy News or something like that, I feel like sometimes it may still be over my head, but we'll see. I might start doing that soon. But right now I'm just sticking with what I'm enjoying right now, which is the mini stories in the Japanese Pod 101 dialogues, and that seems to be working really, really well. So the Percy Jackson series is what got me into reading as well. Just such a fun series. It is. See, and I love mythology too. And I plan on reading a lot of Rick Riordan, whatever, however you say his name. I plan on reading a lot of his stuff because I know he has the one book that's based around Egyptian mythology, and he has the Norse mythology book as well. And then, of course, the Percy Jackson stuff that's around Greek mythology. And I definitely plan on reading a lot of his books. I think there's like 14 or 15 books within... Not that's necessarily a Percy Jackson book, but that's in that universe of like mythology and stuff that I plan on reading. I can get the gist of everything I watch now and hear every word they're saying, even if I don't understand it. It's such a great feeling. Kind going, and that's how it was for me as a kid with Percy Jackson. Yeah. I can understand if in terms of that kind of comprehension. Yeah. So I can definitely hear more so clearly now than I ever have, like, by far. And actually, the biggest time I noticed the difference is when I went through that little burnout phase, and then I came back, and when I started listening again, I mean, it was so much clearer than it was. And so I don't know if like the burnout had played into like that kind of effect or anything, but yeah, coming back and just listening to Japanese, I was like, oh my God, this is so clear. It gets much better and better. It's such a magical feeling for sure. I've been doing cat style time boxing with reading as well, and honestly, I've been able to actually enjoy reading for the first time in years. Yeah, I'd mentioned time boxing earlier. I do time boxing, and that definitely I think helps. I think it helps a lot. Absolutely. I used to be able to read a thick book in a single day, but now I feel like I don't have the focus to sit down and read. It could be that I haven't found an interesting book yet, though. So the thing that helps me a lot, and here's the way that my mind works, just to give you guys a little insight into how my mind works. If I pick up a book, I don't think I have a book out here right off. I do. Well, I have some books. They're not big books though. This won't be good examples, but all right. So, like my mom brought me a couple of Goosebumps over, right? So, if I see a book like this and I'm holding it, I'm constantly thinking about how much more I have. There's a Goosebump bookmarks and cards. But anyway, I'm constantly thinking about how much more I have left to go, and this in itself will make me not read. Now, this isn't a thick book, so this doesn't really count. But like if this was, a standard book that was a little bit thicker, I would read a chapter and be like, oh my God, I have so much more left, and I would put it down. So from there, what I do is I read on Kindle. So right now I'm reading Max and the Multiverse, which is not a big book in itself. It's only like 190 some pages. But the thing is, so I'm getting ready to start chapter 2. This is all I see is this page. And then I read this page, boom, flip to the next page. And I'm just reading what's in front of me. And getting that out of my mind of how much I have left, how long is it going to take me, and just enjoying the story, I have burned through it. And I know that a lot of people prefer physical books over digital books, but I think from where I got into reading so late in my life, it doesn't bother me. I mean, I do like a physical copy of a book, but man, not having, like, for example, in 2 weeks, Ready Player 2 comes out, and I did read Ready Player 1 is one of the books that I have read in my lifetime for whatever reason. I will pick up Ready Player 2 and I will read it on Kindle, and not having to look at how thick that book is and think, oh my God, I have so much left, and just read page for page as it is. That is what helped me so much. That's why I do very short time boxing intervals. Yeah, time boxing is awesome. AJAT isn't as hardcore as I was led to believe. He talks tons about burnout prevention and not getting down on yourself, and MI feels like the opposite, always being about efficiency. Yeah, I mean, I can see what you're talking about there, for sure. Kind of makes me want to go continue reading right now. Hey man, I'm just glad I can, do some stuff. I'm just glad that because I've been talking, anybody who's followed this channel for any period of time, even if you just subscribed to me last week, you know that like, I'm always like, I want to get into reading, and making that happen in English has transitioned me to being able to do it in Japanese and enjoy it a little bit more. A lot of stuff was just hyperbolic. I'm still not super smart. Reading on e-readers is great because you don't have to face how thick the book is. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And that's what helps me get through books faster. I read, I know that, look, I'm sure a lot of readers, this is probably nothing, but the second Percy Jackson book is like 330 some pages, I believe, and I read it in less than a week, which for me is incredible. How do you guys progress without reading? There are like a cajillion words. I see like 42 a day. It's just going through subtitles and stuff a lot of time. But I have, like I said, I genuinely will say I have progressed faster the last 10 days of reading regularly than I have before. That's for sure. Just watching a lot, to be honest, and hearing makes reading easier. I think so too. I do think that my overexposure to Japanese has made reading in Japanese easier, like versus just starting out. Especially from when the characters aren't like foreign to me, like especially like hiragana. Like it's hard for me to look at a hiragana word and remember what the feeling was like of I didn't know what that, like I can't look at hiragana even if I don't know the meaning of it. Like it's hard for me to imagine someone looking at a hiragana set couple of characters and not being able to read what they are. That's a weird feeling. And so I think that my overexposure to Japanese has helped me with reading a lot. Kanji is a little bit different, but there's even kanji characters that I look at and I'm just like I'll talk to people at work because they'll ask me a question or whatever, and I'm like, here, and it's hard for me to understand that like you don't know what that symbol means, and it's just because it's so common to me now. Just watching a lot, to be honest. I'm trying to find Percy Jackson in German. Heck yeah, I'm sure it's out there. Percy Jackson German. Nah, I don't want cover. Why did cover? Percy Jackson German. Percy Jackson. Diebe im Olymp. Not sure. Actually, let's see. Here's what we can do. Let's go to Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson. Let's search Japanese and see what we can read on just like the book. Here we go. Let's go to the Amazon. Percy Jackson and the Olympians. Okay. Mitai no de. They want to read this. ついてに言うと、この本の国である七人のman, yeah, it's definitely still needs some work, but okay, let's see. I like to read the news in the language, but I know a lot of people do not like it. Yeah, I don't watch or listen or anything to the news in English. Like, I found the news to be just an absolute just constant reminder of why I hate everything. So I don't like listening to the news. I've never liked listening to the news though. But I also understand like why people would enjoy it. Like, I'm not saying I don't stay up to date and like try to stay informed on like current events and stuff, but I just it's not something that I can't do it. I've tried, but I can't. Completely the same. It's such a great feeling because I'm completely comfortable with reading sentences, and I feel like that's helped with Spanish too because I know how to read foreign languages. Yeah, for sure. And getting the parsing down. Yeah. Imagine how much quicker people could learn Japanese if anybody could develop a parser that worked correctly. But it's like their grammar is so crazy with different verb endings and different other things that you have to put into different positions that it's so hard to properly parse Japanese. Especially from where they don't really use spaces, but I don't know, man. It was kind of cool experiencing this election cycle in Japanese. The difference in presentation was super jarring and cool. Interesting. Yeah, I tried to stay as far away from that stuff as possible. Like, I tried to stay informed, but I tried to stay as far away from that as possible. Lindy talks in one of her recent videos about kind of cherishing the time when you don't understand anything at all, because later when you understand, you'll never be able to go back to when you didn't. Yeah, so I had talked about that a little bit in, I think in the burnout, like the dealing with depression video that I made, talking about how, or maybe I didn't. I know I talked to Mark about this language come up, but yeah, it's like the idea, I think that part of what was getting me down is that from where I was understanding more and more of Japanese, that kind of the mystique was starting to wear off. It's kind of just a language now, right? Like, it's not this crazy, exotic, super foreign, alien-like, culture. Like, it's like I'm starting to unlock more and more, and I still don't know, but I understand a lot more in it, and there's not this mystique behind it and this draw, this, oh man, it's so different, and I think that, I can relate to what you're saying completely there, or to what Lindy was saying, I should say. What site did you use to just find a Japanese book with a Japanese description? Just Amazon. You can just search for, just search for whatever book you're looking for, and then just type in the language after it that you're talking about, and it'll usually take you to the page. It's actually easy to parse just with a little linguistic knowledge. Just no textbook teaches that because it seems too complicated. Yeah, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about like linguistics or anything. I hear people talking about it all the time, and I'm just kind of like, cool, man. If that's your cup of tea, I don't know. It's weird because I feel like there's a lot of people that think that you have to be into linguistics to do languages. I'm not anti-linguistics, that's not what I'm saying, but it's just not something I've ever really looked into. And maybe that would help me in learning, who knows. But yeah, I would love for that to happen. To be able to parse Japanese, I mean. That would be super, super dope. Bum, ba-da-dum, bum, 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 bum. Why do I have so many tabs open? Okay, there's the Percy Jackson. Boom, 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 boom. And, okay, there's that. I do need that. And here we go. Okay. We were taught a system at uni, and it helped me a lot seeing connections within sentences and words. Interesting. That is cool. Was that a standard thing, or were you in linguistics Just focus on the study, second language acquisition at first. If that's what you're doing, it can help a lot. Language acquisition. I haven't taken any linguistics classes, and I want to so badly, but I can't right now. Crash Course Linguistics on YouTube it is. Yeah, go check out Aaron's videos. Think Tam Languages. He's always posting some linguistic stuff that I don't understand. I mean that with like I don't mean that negatively. I wasn't saying that. I meant that like as a joke. Like he is literally always posting stuff that I'm just like, sure, that's probably right. Did you? No, I have not watched the Crashing interview yet. I need to do that. I'll probably listen to it while I'm at work tomorrow. Like while I'm doing some of the stuff that I have to do. Like I'll probably listen to that before I start listening to some of the Japanese stuff. That's probably what I'll do. What does Refold mean? I heard that's MIA's new name. Maybe you know it. Yeah, Refold. So it's taken off of an idea of an old, what is the word? Metaphor that Matt used to make about language learning, which is that when you learn a language, you're folding it. Like it's like folding a piece of paper. And then when you unfold it and you're trying to learn something else, you're having to fold it, and it's harder to get it to stick in those positions because you've already made these folds. Matt does a better job at explaining it, but that's kind of the general gist of it. I'm majoring in Japanese studies, so we have linguistic classes that might explain. Fair enough. Fair enough. I would love to take Japanese. I don't even know college. I wonder where the closest college to me. Major in Japanese studies. Close to me. 2021 best colleges. What does it mean? Japanese University of Oklahoma. Okay, that's halfway across the country. Colleges and university with Japanese language programs. Here we go. All right, let's go down to Virginia. Okay, Virginia and West Virginia don't have any. Okay, North Carolina. Okay, Duke, North Carolina State. Those are in the same general area. Not exactly, but they're definitely. Okay, Greensboro. Okay. Wake Forest would be even closer. Georgia would be further, and Alabama. What the crap? That's it? There's only what? Oh, that's updated in 2012, but still. So far away. He said it was about refolding your brain to fit your language. Yes, I got the image of Hannibal Lecter folding someone's brains. Thanks, Seabolt. Also, thanks, guys. Are you going to go get a career change? Nah, man, I love my job. I love what I do. It's super, I don't know. It's hard to explain. I don't like talking about it because I don't like sharing that kind of personal information. I mean, it's not like I'm not like a CIA agent or anything, but like I don't like sharing. Like there's some stuff I like to keep private just for the sake of privacy to myself, but I do love my job. Hannibal was a great TV show, just saying. I have not watched it. You better believe it. Hugh Dancy was a snack too. What? Who is Hugh Dancy? Hugh Dancy. Okay. Fair enough. Yeah, I've not watched that. But that's a pretty common theme. If you ask me about TV shows, generally my answer is I have not watched that yet. Or the other common answer is that I have watched the first episode and nothing else. Like, Game of Thrones, I ended up watching the first, I think, 3 episodes, but like it was like Game of Thrones. I had done that. There's so many shows. Like people ask me at work, "Did you watch that?" And I'm like, "I've actually watched the first episode," and no. Have you played any video games in Japanese? I have not. No, I have not. It's something I would like to do. I still just don't. I think the biggest problem is that I don't have a lot of time to play games. Like, I definitely want to, and I know that would be a form of studying, but it's just not something I don't know. It's just not something I've done just yet. He is really searching Hugh Dancy. I had no idea who Hugh Dancy was. I don't know who Hugh Dancy is. I still don't know who he is. Let's go to his Wikipedia here. What else has he been in? Filmography: Black Hawk Down, Young Blades, Tempo, The Sleeping Dictionary, King Arthur, Ella Enchanted, Shooting Dogs, Basic Instinct 2. That's interesting. I've seen Basic Instinct. The Jane Austen Book Club, Evening, Savage Grace, Blood and Chocolate, Confessions of a Shopaholic, Adam Coach, The Wildest Dreams, Our Idiot Brother. I have seen that. He was Christian. I don't remember who that character was, though. Martha Mercy, okay, whatever that is. Hysteria, Legend of Oz, Dorothy's Return, Poe, Joseph Pulitzer, and Late Night. Okay, I've seen one of this guy's movies. Let's look at his TV shows. My God, he's been around forever. How old is this guy? 45, okay. Trials and Retribution, The New Adventures of Robin Hood, Dangerfield, Cold Feet, Kavanaugh QC, Relic Hunter, David Copperfield, television film, okay, Madame Bovary, Daniel, Persona, Elizabeth the Big C, Hannibal, okay. Deadline, Gallipoli, Robot Chicken, various voices. I've seen Robot Chicken. And The Good Fight. Yeah, I've literally seen basically nothing this dude has ever done. Time boxing, your fun is a thing too. Yeah. Maybe I will watch a Hugh Dancy something at some point while I do something Japanese related. Oh, is he married to Claire Danes? I know who Claire Danes is. Claire Danes. Okay. Alright. I know who Claire Danes is. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, time boxing is it's a really cool thing because I mean it's the idea of it. I know what I'm about to say, and people would be like, "Yeah, that's the whole point of it, you idiot." But like, I've been able to enjoy doing a lot more stuff that I used to enjoy because of time boxing, because I can fit Japanese around it more carefully. So I've watched so much wrestling lately that I know that it should be Japanese, but it's not been. I've been watching like ICW, which is my favorite promotion. Like, I've been watching all their shows, and like it's just been so easy for me to keep up because I'll do that, and then like while they're cleaning the match, like the mat up after a match, like if there's blood on it or if it's a death match, if they're cleaning glass or thumbtacks out of the ring, like I'll just boom pop up on my phone and do Japanese. Like I've actually studied more and immersed more since I changed my study habits than I did before. And that's crazy, but it doesn't feel like I'm doing more because of the way that I'm spacing it out. It's okay, I don't know who he is either, but I'm a Zoomer. Which one is a Zoomer? Is the Zoomer like the new generation? How old are you, Zach? Time boxing is just basically doing something that you like for, I don't know, 5 or 10 minutes and then studying for a couple of minutes. Or you can follow what Julie B said. She probably has a little more information than I do, but that's what I do. I just do it for, I'll watch a TV show. Like I said, I'll watch football, and I'll literally watch a play, which will take 30 seconds, and then I pop down on my phone and I do some stuff in Japanese until the next play starts. And you fit a lot of extra stuff in that way. I'm 20, born in 2000. Okay. Gotcha. I don't know what I am. I don't really understand or follow, like, I guess I'm like, I think millennials are between 85 and 92 or something. I was born in 1987. So, every day then come up with a new expression in the language learning community. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's always something new. Time boxing's been around for a long time, though. Like, even outside of languages, like, just the idea of, like, trying to... Because the idea is, when you're doing something that you like to do, you're getting that dopamine release. And then if you can go, boom, right into something like Japanese, you will... Or whatever you're doing, right? If you're studying to be a doctor, like, go in and study some of these flashcards, your dopamine is still... Like, it's there, and it's helping you retain information because you have this happiness association because you've been doing something that you enjoy. It's not language learning specific. Yeah, it's been around for a long time. You get dopamine spikes for completing a time box. Yeah, so it helps you through the monotonous tasks. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah, that is it, man. I mean, and like I said, it can work literally in anything. I mean, think about it. Like, if you have a bunch of dishes to do, maybe that's not the best example because you would have to get your hands wet and then rinse them off and all that stuff. But yeah, just imagine, like, I've got 40 plates I've got to wash. Go wash 3 of them. Go do something else for a minute. Go wash 3 of them. Go do something else for a minute. And, like, over the course of time, you're still doing other crap you want to do, and you're also doing your dishes. That's probably a bad example, but, like, it doesn't feel as bad as just sitting there having to do 40 plates worth of dishes or whatever. I'm autistic, so time boxing has literally... I could see that. Probably helps with, like, focus and stuff. I'm sure, yeah. I know that there's a lot of people who have talked about they wish that, like people dealing with, like, especially, like, students and stuff and teachers, that they would deal more so in, like, the idea of time boxing. So it's Pomodoro. What is I have no idea. Maybe. What is Pomodoro? The Pomodoro technique. TomatoTimer.com. What? All right, here's a Wikipedia page. The Pomodoro technique is a time management method developed by Francesco Cirillo in the late 1980s. This technique uses a timer to break down work into intervals, traditionally 25 minutes in length. Separated by short breaks, each interval is known as a pomodoro, from the Italian word for tomato, after the tomato-shaped kitchen timer. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, that sounds exactly like time boxing to me. I've been doing it for 12 years and never heard of that term till this year. I think Pomodoro uses bigger intervals and shorter breaks. Yeah, I think with time boxing, it can be literally anything. Like, you can do, like, 30 seconds on, 1 minute off, or... I mean, you can do 30 seconds on, 5 minutes off if you want. I think if I watched a long time ago, and it's been so long since I've watched this video, I'm probably misquoting it, but I think when Yoga did RTK, because he did all 1,000 cards in 30 days, and I think he set a timer and he did like 1 minute of RTK, and then he did like maybe 1 or 2 minutes of watching TV or something, and that's how he got through all of them so quick, or like within that 30 days. I could be wrong about that, but that's what I'm thinking. Pomodoro uses bigger intervals. You basically have a timer and do tasks for 25 minutes and rest for 5. Yeah, I check Discord during my time boxes. Yeah, it depends on what I'm doing, honestly. Let's see. Yeah, old Discord, man. Speaking of which, I think somebody said that my Discord link doesn't work. What happens if I click this? Seabolt speaks. Yeah, no, it's working. Okay. Interesting. What do we got? Ooh, 77 minutes. We've been going for a little bit. I'll probably do it for about another 15 minutes, go for about an hour and a half, and then stop. That way I can do a little bit of study / read / immersion / whatever else it is that I'm doing. The other thing that I have done as well has been to get more sleep. I went to sleep at 9:45-ish last night. Slept until 7 this morning. And I think that has helped kind of relieve my brain a little bit. And as a matter of fact, with it being 10:18, might do a little bit more reading on Link and hit the bed because, I really need that sleep. It just takes all the pressure off of forcing yourself to pay attention. Yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And that's super, super huge. It never worked for me. I need at least 20 minutes to get in the mood to do a task. Hey, I get that. I can understand that. I get where you're coming from for sure. I feel like I just completely lose my focus and train of thought with breaks every few minutes in things that just require to read in one thought or so. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if just like different brain patterns have like maybe from where my brain is like, I don't know, man. Like it's always freaking going. Like I have to actually even be reading on my phone. Like I can't just sit like at night when I go to sleep. I can't just sit there and like I can't just I can't just shut my brain off and go to sleep. Like my brain will just start going 100 miles an hour thinking about stuff when I'm sitting there trying to go to sleep. So I'll even have to like read or look at my phone or something, like just to have like kind of a one thought process in front of me. It's whatever I'm looking at in order to go to sleep. And so I'm thinking maybe that's why I can jump from thing to thing so fine, because my brain is just it just never stops. By the time the timer is off, I started doing the task. Exactly. I mean, you can structure those in different ways. One of those ways in time boxing your level of attention. It's all dependent on how well you get in the groove. Yeah, you don't have to stop the task to time box. How would it work? Yeah, I mean, realistically, like, you know, I to be honest, I just use the term time boxing loosely. I don't set a timer. I do it for whatever I'm comfortable with. Like I said, if I'm watching a TV show, I'll watch the TV show, and then during a commercial, pop out about 3 minutes, 4 minutes, however long the commercial break is, and, you know, whatever. Or like I said, if I'm watching a football game, boom, play takes 25, 30 seconds, and then it's another 45 seconds to a minute, sometimes longer before they run another play. And then that's what I do. Like, I've actually literally never set a timer. Like I said, I just use the term time boxing very, very loosely. Alright, let's close that tab. I guess I need to shape it around my needs. Yeah, I mean, that's the key to everything. I'm gonna go to sleep now. Have a nice rest of the stream and keep up the great work. Thanks, Ethan Entertainment. Good luck on your German Percy Jackson finds. Hopefully you can find whatever. Thanks for checking out the stream. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm only going to go for a couple more minutes, and I'm going to bounce out of here too. I don't set a timer. Yeah, just you just shape it around the things you need. Yep, that is what I do. All I know is that now it's hard for me to listen to a podcast on my target language because my mind goes to Pluto and never returns. Concentration is my concentration. Jesus Christ, I can't even read in English here. Concentration is getting worse and worse. Now, I get that for sure. My time boxes are generally 15 to 20 minutes. I don't stop when time go as long as I feel like I'm going, so I immediately stop. Yeah, I mean, you just make it work for yourself for sure. Lindy, hey, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. Hey, I need to send you a message. I got contacted by somebody asking me about joining like a or not joining, but they were asking me something about, hold on. It has been a long time. Yeah, it said, this is from somebody, Redmond Borins, said we recently interviewed Lindy to share their story about content creation, and they mentioned you, so we thought we'd reach out. I was going to send you a message and see if that was a legitimate thing. I use Forest, the 60-minute timer, and get a 10-minute break. That's the one that plants trees if you don't use your phone, right? It is legit. Okay, cool. I will respond to that. I meant to send you... I got that email this morning, and I've been so busy today, I haven't had a chance to message you about that, but yeah. Okay, cool. Now that I know that. Time boxing. Boom. Boom. It sucks when I look at my OBS and then I look at YouTube because the quality of my camera is not as terrible as the stream makes it look. It's so sad. But it's all good. Okay. Let's see here. All right, what we got? You got about 5 minutes left, so if anybody has anything else they want to chat about, let me know, because like I said, I'm going to wrap it up at an hour and a half. That way I can go do a little bit of reading, a little bit of study, a little bit of sleep. Podcasts are hard until you understand enough. It's better to focus on content with visual clues, then rip that audio and listen to it later. Your mind will remember the visuals when you hear it. Yeah, I don't listen to many podcasts. The only podcast I listen in English sometimes. I listen to Joe Rogan, but I think that's just that might just be part of being an American, I guess. I feel like everybody listens to Joe Rogan, but I don't listen to a lot of podcasts. I did listen to, there's one called Radio Rental that Rainn Wilson was the host of that talks about like true, kind of like, it's like pseudo horror stories. Like it's not like really horror stories, but it's just like weird, odd, inconvenient little like strange things. But yeah, I don't really listen to a lot of podcasts. Graded reader. And I would like to find some good graded readers, but like I said, the graded reader that I tried on one of the ones I tried on Amazon, the very first sentence of the book had a misspelled word in Japanese, and I was like, all right, well, maybe I won't read this. I feel like it's hard to understand podcasts and such because I don't really get like humor and stuff yet. Like I can understand things going on, but I understand some subtle details. That's one of the. So speaking of me talking about listening to Joe Rogan, he has comedians on there sometimes that English isn't their native language. He had a Portuguese guy on there, and they were talking about how hard and how crazy it is that he is a stand-up comedian in America because everybody's humor is different. Like what is funny to one person in their language, a lot of that depends on kind of the context around it, right? I remember, as a matter of fact, Lindy's here. I remember her, when I did an interview on her channel, I was talking about how, in English, you can make a joke, and I mean, this isn't going to be funny or anything, but you're like, oh, I went to the store. Well, in Japanese, from where the verb is ending, it would be I store, and then is the punchline the verb that they did that with? Because you couldn't have the suspense of where did they go. It would have to be, this is the area, what happened there? You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, the store played a violin. Like, you know what I mean? So humor is completely different across different languages because of just the way that we speak. It's hard for me to concentrate on a podcast, even in my own native language. I can see that. To make those things entertaining, that makes sense. I usually fall asleep while listening to them or don't pay attention at all. I mean, I get that. Sense of humor is so hard to get. Yeah, there's just a lot of things. I watched a video about translators, how people will make the mistake of, like, they'll make a pun and not realize that it doesn't translate into the other language. Like, man, I wish I could think of the example. Like, I can't even think of an example right now. I play podcasts at 2 times speed because normal speed makes me bored and can't concentrate. I actually incorporated that recently into... I was listening to an audiobook and the narrator was just reading slow, and then I was like, you know what? And so I sped it up to 2 times the speed, and it was a little bit... I mean, it was a little bit fast. I could have slowed it down a little bit, but I got through it way quicker, obviously, but... it actually made me pay attention. Like I passively paid attention to it more than I would have because I wasn't as turned off by how slow the person was reading. I've always had people talk about that. Like, oh man, play it at 2 times speed or even 1.5 or whatever. And I've always been like, well, I don't really know. But when I did that with that book, like it made it like, I mean, just burned right through it. It was perfectly fine. And it's also going to allow me to cheat in the future of reading more books than I have plans for, because if I can listen to a 10-hour book in 5 hours, hey, why not? I listen to my immersion at 1.25 speed. That makes it more bearable. I don't know why. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I know Japanese is the fastest spoken language. It's like 7.92 syllables per second. Japanese speed. That's probably not going to do anything. Well, and it auto-filled in the word train. No. Okay, they're talking about Shinkansen. That's not what I need. I need... all right, fastest spoken language. Let's do that. Okay. How do you fill in the word train? Well, I didn't type it, but you don't fill in the word. All right. Okay, 7.84 syllables per second. I knew it was something like that. So, yeah. So I feel like that would be brutal for me. I guess your brain just understands you have to pay attention more. I do that with my online classes. Yeah, it makes sense. And it makes me happy because there's a lot of audiobooks I want to listen to that are like 20 hours long. And I'm like, no, I don't think so, dude. 10 hours, though, this doesn't sound as bad. Like, I think hold on, let me go to my audible.com, because I bought it a long time ago. And, I bought Audible a long time ago, and where's the library? It's like really, really long. Where are you at? It is, okay, no, it's 44 hours. But when you break it down, 22 hours doesn't sound near as bad. Still sucks, but not as bad. With my online classes, I also like listening fast because it gives my brain less time to translate with immersion. That makes sense. I can see what you're cutting off the need to translate. Luca failed Japanese, but probably speaks it at a B2. Interesting. Yeah, I know he made a video about... I haven't watched a Luca video in a long time. That's not like a personal attack on Luca. I haven't watched a lot of people's content in a long time. Just because of... Well, first off, when I got burnt out, I just kind of stopped doing a lot of stuff. And then, because when I went through the burnout phase, and then if I would watch other people's language content, it would kind of make me fall into like a deeper depression, because I was like, look at these people being awesome, you know? And then once I got out of that, like, I've started picking back up. But yeah, but Luca's somebody I just haven't watched in a really long time. The last video I watched from him was the video where he did an interview with Matt. I think that's the last video I watched on his channel. And the last video, I couldn't even tell you the last video I watched before that. Unless, did he do... No, maybe not. I don't know. That can help you a lot. I still feel the need to translate, kind of to check if I... So I've had some interesting experiences. You saying that, Ada, reminded me, like... So when I'm using... like, for example, today, Link, like, when I'm reading through some of the stuff on there, it's a really weird feeling, but like there are words that I hear, and there's whole sentences and paragraphs of stuff in Link, because it's such, material that I've went over several times, but I don't have, like, it just hits me. There is no, like, I can't even explain it, but there is not even a need for translate. It literally just hits me, and I know what it means. There is no question. Like, it's such a weird thing that started happening recently. Like, I hear stuff, and it's just like, yeah, that is what it is. And it's like it's hard to put into context, like, that I don't have to, like, translate it. Gotta go. Thanks for the live stream. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Lindy. I appreciate that. Hopefully we can chat soon. Long time no see. Have you started reading? I have. Yeah, man. I actually absolutely have. Seabolt, how's it going? Cheers from Canada. What's up? What is going on? Yeah, I started. I got into reading. I finally managed to get into reading. I started reading some English books, not English books like literature, like not like high school books, but like I started reading like books in English. I wanted to kind of get into that habit, and I finally got into it. I've been reading for about a month. I've read 5 books over the last a little bit less than a month. Feels really, really good to get into that, and that has kind of transferred over into Japanese. I'm not reading like Japanese books, but I am reading in Japanese, so it is starting to happen. I only translate when things are really slow because it fills the dead time, mostly a conscious thing. Interesting. That makes I can see that. I hate other people's AJAC content. After going through a lot of the grind, you can tell kind of when a you can kind of tell when someone's exaggerating, and it used to get me down that I wasn't that good. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So like I've fully understand that some of the content that I make opens myself up to criticism from people, because I refuse to post anything that's not legitimate. I absolutely refuse to pretend that I am better at a language than I am. I refuse to pretend that I don't go through troubles. I refuse to, talk about that I don't have these weird temptations of, man, I'm struggling, maybe I should stop learning Japanese, and I get comments all the time, oh, you should just quit, you're never going to do it. But, I understand that that's just part of the territory, because I refuse to make falsified content, man. It's not who I am. It's not who I will ever be. It's just not the type of crap that I like to watch. And that's part of the reason I started doing YouTube, because of exactly what you're talking about, man. You see these people and they're like, I started learning Japanese last week and I'm already having an A2 conversation. I'm sorry, man. I don't believe that. Don't believe it at all. I do not believe that you went from 0 to an A2 in less than a week. And if you're English speaker, one of the hardest languages to learn, I refuse to believe it. So yeah, and that's why I want to do what I want to do. That way, look, I get negative comments all the time. Perfectly fine. If I can help someone else who is going through the same crap that I am, I mean, that's just what I want. That's what I'm here for. That's what I want to do. Could I be doing some stuff right now? Absolutely. Could I be studying right now? Yes. I could be reading right now. I could be watching Japanese TV right now. I could be doing all that stuff. But I enjoy chatting with people, and it's good, man. It's good to chat and let people know where you're at, and they can ask questions, and sometimes it can help you see stuff that you didn't know that you needed to fix. And sometimes people can get some stuff that you mentioned in the video. Like, I want to make sure people know that all those videos that you see, not all of them, but a lot of the videos that you see that are, you can clearly tell there's some falsified information. Like that's not me. There's a lot of people, and I'm starting month 8. I'm starting month 7. I can't count. Or not starting. It's about halfway through now. But there's people who make video. I've seen people post videos 7 months in. Had a conversation, full-blown conversation, impromptu, no problems at a restaurant. And hey, I know that a lot of it depends on the time that you went into, but that I don't feel like that's a realistic goal, especially for Japanese, for someone with a realistic life schedule. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying you see a lot more of that stuff with no real evidence to back it up. I don't know. That's just not the type of crap I want to make. More power to people, but yeah. Ada, just focus on and don't try to translate, and eventually you will just hear and understand. Although I don't think you can help translating at the beginning. Yeah, I mean it's definitely something that you want to. Like, not want to. It's something that you naturally want to do is to translate it, because it's just, especially if you've ever tried to learn Spanish or something, because it's literally how you're taught to do it. Oh, this means this means this. So how do you say this? Well, this and this. Okay, boom. But eventually stuff just and it's the only way I know how to explain it. Stuff just eventually hits you. So when you hear it, you just know what it is. There is no, like, you don't associate. Like, for example, in Japanese, the word for now is ima, which I'm not. It's not an overly hard word, but when I hear ima, I don't have to think that it means now, because ima is now. Like, that word, it just embodies in my brain. Like, that's just what that word means. It's not that this word translates to this. That word is that. Like, there's another example. Hold on, let me make sure that I'm right on this. Like, I find it hilarious that the word for breadcrumbs is panko. Yeah, panko. And now, like, if I ever go to the store and I'm looking for breadcrumbs, which I don't, since I do like a keto diet, I don't anymore. But it's hard for me to read a can that says panko breadcrumbs, because in my head I just hear breadcrumbs twice, like, because panko is breadcrumbs in Japanese, and that's the brand in English of this company that makes them, but in Japanese panko means breadcrumbs, so I literally see breadcrumbs. That's a weird way to put it, but yeah. Reading's been so helpful for me, but it's difficult to read for long hours at a time, but trying to slowly build up the reading hours. Yeah, I don't read like much. Like Saturday, I went a little bit crazy. This past Saturday, I read. I was 57% through the second Percy Jackson book, and I finished it that day. So like, definitely have some stuff. You know. But I mean, for the most part, I read just a little bit each day. And in Japanese, I usually on Link, I'll try to hit about 2,000 words read. So I still don't overdo it, but I'm also progressing faster. So I used to watch Japanese TV, but the time difference meant I only caught the daytime housewife stuff, and it was super boring. That's hilarious. French is especially difficult because how they write books and how they speak changes a lot. Yeah, I struggle with French because of the word being 750 characters long, but you pronounce the first 3 letters of it. Gets a little tough. Podcast. Oh, Lingoholics Podcast. I thought you were starting since the word podcast. How's your local meetup scene? Can you go hang out with other Japanese learners? No. Nobody. My area is... no one here really does anything. Everybody here... Well, everybody here is really into, like, hunting and fishing and going four-wheeling, doing drugs. Like, that's pretty much what the area that I'm in is known for. So nobody really cares about languages here. There's people who want to learn, but there's not people who want... It's people who want to casually learn, like, if that makes sense. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but it would be hard to, like... chat with some people like about some of the intricacies of language learning because they don't really like language learning. It's just they're like, ooh, I watched anime one time and would like to learn Japanese, and they're like, have you seen this? And they're like, that looks hard, I guess I'll stop. That kind of thing. In my experience, immersion only works once you achieve at least A2 to B1 level. Before that, I'm just listening to unrecognizable sounds. Yeah, like I understand the arguments for both sides, because I think the purpose of immersion before you understand is to train your ears. That way you don't have to train your ears after you know the words. But yeah, I mean, I've definitely gotten a lot more out of immersion recently with listening to stuff on Link that I've already read because it is familiar. So I definitely understand that side too. I've done immersion from 0 and I've been progressing a ton. Yeah, I mean, the listening, being able to hear the sounds helps so much. I think that's definitely super, super, what am I trying to say here? Sometimes my brain just blanks out. I don't know. Whatever I was saying. Hopefully it made sense. I don't know. Hearing the words and making associations before learning is a huge benefit. Yeah, I got a ton out of it. That's for sure. I do feel like I'm progressing a little bit quicker at the vocabulary I'm learning if it's stuff that is like that. But I definitely got a lot out of the incomprehensible. I don't know if you like pasta ramen noodles, but there's a pasta alternative called Pasta Zero, 4 carbs a serving. You may like it. It's good with spaghetti or with ramen flavoring. I'll check that out. I tried a pasta one time before that was terrible. Let me see if I can find what it is. Palmini. Yeah, it was called Palmini, which I didn't really care too much for. It was kind of crunchy. I made a video about it on my other channel, and people were like, oh, you have to boil it. But I did, and it was still crunchy. So I would be... What is it? What did you say it was called? Pasta Zero. Pasta Zero. Pasta Zero. Organic skinny pasta. That's not what I'm looking. Pasta Zero. I don't see anything on Amazon. I'll have to look into that. For me, I need to learn a bit for... Oh, yeah, well, so when I first started, so the idea was that I just needed to learn how to hear the language, like, to be able to parse it. That way, if I hear something, even if I don't know what it is, I can look it up, and then just start looking stuff up. Just every so often, look up a word that you hear. Or at least that's what's worked for me so far, anyway. All right. Subtitles at first make grammar content wean off. Seeing kanji as you learn it as well as vocab, in my opinion, helped a ton. Yeah, I agree. Like for me, I don't think I could learn vocabulary without immersing. Yeah, I've noticed. So I actually, and again, I've actually learned vocabulary on Link better than through the Anki flashcards because of just constant repetition of seeing it in different usages. Whatever beasters. Context, I think it might be very useful with Chinese since there's so many characters. I mean, you could supplement with grammar and vocab, but hearing it in real sense has helped me understand it a bit better. Like, oh, I've heard that. Yeah, like for example, like I think what I'm doing with Lingo Deer, if I was just doing it, would be useless. But doing Lingo Deer and then jumping into just some random video for 10 or 15 minutes to see if I even see that is super useful. Oh, it is 1:04. We are past an hour and a half, so I've heard that before in extra. Yeah, yep. For sure. You kind of have that aha moment. I guess I'm a bit lazy. It takes a lot of my brain power to do Link. Yeah, I mean, that's not everybody's cup of tea. There's nothing wrong with that. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't like it's I get it. Same thing with it's anything, right? People love Duolingo, people hate Duolingo. People like Memrise, people hate Memrise. People like Anki, people hate Anki. You gotta find what works for you. I like it. There's other cool stuff that's similar to it though. I think there's even an extension for your web browser that's like a reader that you can do. I like Japanese.io or something like that. I totally forgot I wanted to share. Oh wait, hold on. I'll get that in a second. Yeah, exactly. And you know how it's spoken. It's not being introduced to you, and you're not thinking in bits and pieces, but you know exactly how to say it, which makes me think I want to do more SRS. Yeah. I totally forgot I wanted to share a YouTube channel. It's comedy, so you might be interested. Sure. Because now that I got the language context down, I could work with it. Yep, for sure. Is it okay if I post the link here? Yeah. Post it up. And then if anybody has any Japanese comedy, I'll check that out. If anybody has any final questions, thoughts, whatever the deal may be, let me know, because I'm going to jump off here in just a few minutes, because it is almost 11 o'clock here. But I am going to be doing more of these streams now that we are back on a routine, man. Go start pumping some stuff out and getting some stuff going. Did you post that? I don't see anything yet. Did it get filtered? No, I don't have anything. Like, I don't even have anything pending, and I don't think I have it to where it blocks. Let me go to my chat settings and see what's up. Live chat. No, looks like I should be able to just pop through. Oh, here we go. There's the name. I'm 1 hour ahead. Wow. Where are you at? I'm assuming somewhere in South America. Or I guess you could be in Canada? Does Canada stretch over that far? I'm trying to think. Oh, wait, that's not what I need. Let's go. Okay, cool. I will... Whoa, let's stop. Okay, let's just chill there. There we go. Alright, cool. Yeah, I'll check that channel out. Maybe with the election and misinformation, they do it automatically. Very possible. Very, very possible. Yeah, I don't, as far as I know, I don't think I have any kind of settings that say you can't, post stuff. I don't know. South America here. Interesting. Good luck. Brazil. Okay. Amazonas, Brazil. Okay. Brazil. I'd like to go to Brazil someday. Take care. Yeah, it was good to see you. Hopefully I'll see you again very, very soon. Portuguese. So yeah, Portuguese is also a language. I think it seems. I'm from Serra, Brazil. Brazil, man. I would love to learn Portuguese, but Lord Almighty, like, the Portuguese speaks so fast, and it's so, like, I guess from where I'm more so used to Spanish, but it just sounds so slurred. Like, it just doesn't sound as, like, I feel like it would be harder to wrap my head around, because that's like the problem I have with French, is just the pronunciation is so brutal to me. Let's get some of this stuff out of here. There we go. But yeah, Brazil. Portuguese is spoken so fast. Maybe one day. I don't know. I gotta finish. I don't know what I'm doing after Japanese. Honestly, I've thought about, like, realistically, I've thought about, later, man, glad I can be able to hop on. Yeah, man, thank you for coming in, man. I appreciate it. For sure. Hopefully we'll chat soon. When I took my Japanese, since I used to use songs to help us learn vocabulary, I've thought about trying to learn just a couple of, like, anime songs, or who knows, you know? My problem with English is the tones. I guess just like the intonation with it, because we don't really, like, you can, even in English, you can speak like this in a completely monotone way and get your point across. But I guess you're just talking about the general ups and downs that we have while speaking. And because, yeah, I mean, if you put a tone on a word a certain way, it can change the just maybe meaning of it. But try doing what Kat says when you're burnt out again. Start whatever to help you figure it out. Yeah, I'll figure. Hopefully, I won't go through that again. I'm sure I will, because that's just normal human life. But hopefully, it'll be a long time. It's fun how our brains change around the languages we speak. Yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't know what I want to do after the stress accent. I think that makes sense. I'd honestly thought about after Japanese, like once I get to a level where I'm comfortable, instead of being like every other YouTube channel and going to another just super highly sought after language, I've thought about trying to study not necessarily in an endangered language, but languages that don't have a ton of people. Like, I thought, because my channel is getting bigger. I don't know if people would watch or not, but you know, I think that I could use my channel for some good, and instead of being like, oh, cool, well, I'm going to do Spanish, or I'm going to do, or, you know, improve my Spanish, or I'm going to learn Chinese or something of that nature, because, I mean, I feel like there's so many channels doing that. I could do something cool and, like, try to learn something like Icelandic, or, I mean, even, like, Finnish, or Tagalog. I know Tagalog's not huge. Like, do something like that. Like, kind of raise interest around another language that you may not see a lot of people talk about. Maybe, like, raise awareness for language. Or, honestly, like, I would love to learn, I don't know what. I would have to do some research, but some sort of African language or something. Like, I think that would be pretty cool. Spanish is super easy now that I've worked on Japanese. For easy, it's my burnout language, so when I need to de-stress from Japanese, but I still want to immerse, I just pop on Spanish. It's a good one, because from where it's so close to English, or not so close, but like it's you know, it's similar enough to where you can make a lot out. I don't even study Japanese, but I still like your channel. I appreciate that. What languages are you studying? English, I guess, but what else? Love that lesser spoken language idea. Yeah, man, it's something that I would like to do. And realistically, honestly, I need to do some research, but I feel like how many people speak Finnish? Would that count? Because Icelandic only has like 250,000 speakers. Finnish language. Let's see how many people speak Finnish. Okay, 5.4 million. So maybe I could just take languages that have like maybe 10 million and under speakers or something like that and try to figure out what would be a good thing. I don't know. It's just an idea. I mean, we're still a long ways away, right? Because the way that I see it, it'll probably be French and Korean. I'm intermediate at French and beginner at Korean. Okay, cool. I do love Korean. Korean's another language I'd like to learn. But again, like there's so many channels of people learning Korean. Like I could, try to branch out a little bit more. And not even for a long time, right? Like I'm not saying I would dedicate a year to learning Icelandic, but if I could spend like 3 months on it just to raise some awareness around Icelandic or I mean even like I don't know, like Celtic Irish. I don't think there's a lot of speakers of that. Like anything like that, you know what I mean? I think it'd be cool. What about Latin or a conlang? So I did learn Esperanto, although it's been about 2.5 years since I've used it, and I kind of got burnt out on the community just because of some toxic, issues. But so I have done a conlang before, and I would not be opposed to learning another conlang, specifically maybe something like Toki Pona or something. Latin would be cool just for kind of the idea of learning like history of like word origins and stuff. So it's definitely a possibility, yeah. Old English, I would look into it for sure. Is there an Icelandic person out there on YouTube? Yeah, there are a couple of Icelandic channels. There's a girl from Icelandic. Her name is I can't remember what her name is. But yeah, there are a couple. Actually, if you search like Iceland, that's probably one of the only people that come up. There's another channel that teaches Icelandic called Icelandic for Foreigners. They do some really, really cool stuff. So yeah, there's some stuff for Icelandic. There's a lot more stuff for Finnish though, like resource-wise. Duolingo has Finnish. Learner. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. There's people who have talked about learning Icelandic, but I don't think there's anything like I don't know if there's a channel like mine where it's somebody documenting their journey. Maybe an imaginary language. I'm opposed. Like I'm not opposed to anything. Like I said, I would like to, I would like to. I just like the idea of using my channel to maybe spread some love to things that don't maybe get as much love, Like let's look up languages of Africa. I mean, Afrikaans would be one. I've always said I wanted to, get into that. Okay. Let's see. All right. Well, all these languages of Africa so far is like over 10 million speakers. Hausa, Igbo, Zulu, Shona. I don't know. We'll look into it. We'll figure something out. Yeah, man, I don't do Japanese, but I dig your channel. I study Thai and Irish. Lots of Irish material out there. Interesting. Cool. I appreciate you for watching. Thai is a language I wouldn't mind jumping into, but I don't know if that fits under the scarce Thai language. How many people speak Thai? Let's see how many native speakers they have. Native speakers. Well, it says 20 to 36 million. I mean, that's not a ton, but there are more L2 speakers of Thai than native speakers. 44 million L2 Thai speakers. Interesting. Thai is very interesting. You always have Vietnamese. That's very true. Vietnamese has about 100 million speakers, but Vietnamese would definitely be one to do because of there's not a lot of channels out there talking about it. Can we come up with Seabolt language, where it's the language we're forced to speak on your Discord and immerse entirely? It's Seaboltian. It would probably just be using the word like over and over, because ever since someone made me aware of it, that is my filler word, and I say it all the freaking time, and I can't stop. Glossy has free courses for lesser spoken languages: Taiwanese Hokkien, Scottish Gaelic, Welsh, Manx, etc. Very interesting. Okay, I'm gonna have to check that out, actually. I wonder what all's on there. Let's go look right now. Glossica. I think I spelled that wrong. I did. Okay, Glossica, here we go. Courses. I know Mango Languages has some free courses too. Here we go. They have so many languages on Glossica. Does it say free? Yeah, it does say free on it. Okay. Taiwanese Hokkien free. Welsh. Wenzunese. How many people speak Welsh? 866,000 people. Okay, so that would definitely be one of those smaller ones. Haku. What is Hakka? Hakka language. Okay, it's Chinese. Okay. God, Chinese has so many like dialects and stuff. Manx. What is Manx? I don't think I've even heard of that. It's probably Chinese dialect too. No, Manx Gaelic, historically spelled. Extinct. Interesting. Okay. Gaelic free. Catalan free. Okay, yeah, that's interesting. They have a lot of interesting languages on there. Let's see. Yeah, Vietnamese, Swahili. Swahili's got a ton of speakers. I would not be opposed to doing that though. Welsh or Irish. Corpse husband deleted their message. You could do Cherokee or immerse in North Carolina. Yes, so I'm really close to the border of North Carolina, where I'm at in Virginia, and that would be a possibility. And I would like to learn. I genuinely would like to study a Native American language. That is right off in North Carolina. Do you know where there are like Cherokee communities? You could learn some Guarani. Oh, dude, Guarani is actually really interesting. You mentioned that because there was a guy in here earlier who was talking on, and he studies Guarani. I would like to learn that, or at least dabble in it a little bit. I just thought of that one too as an option. Occitan. What is Occitan? Let's look that up. Occitan language. Southern France. Okay. Alright, cool. Occitan. I haven't kept up with your progress in a few weeks. Are you still reviewing JLPT decks? Yes, yeah, I'm doing the Tongo deck. Tongo in 5, I'm still reviewing. It's finished. Tongo in 4, I am reviewing and adding about 5 words a day. But yeah, it's still going super, super good. You could try going to learn a Native American language in your area. So I do know a woman who speaks, I think, Choctaw. She grew up. She's as far as I know, full-blooded Native American. She grew up. She did move to Germany when she was real young, but I believe she speaks Choctaw. So that is a possibility. Could do Basque, the mysterious language from Spain. I have heard of Basque. That is definitely not one I would be opposed to. Might be glad to help learn their language. Yeah, I wonder where the closest like Indian. What do you look for? Like reservation? Like how do you even find Native American communities near me? Maps of Native American tribes and reservation. Okay, there's apparently one super, super close to me. Oh, it's a museum, though. I don't know if it's actual... Indian village. Yeah, it's just a museum. I don't think it's an actual... That's a good point. I'll have to look that up. I'll go to bed now. Thanks for joining. Hopefully we'll see you soon. I'm getting ready to end this. I meant to end it half an hour ago. A tribe from wherever you're at might be helpful to help. I think they have community centers. Yeah, I would like to. I'll have to check that out. Like I said, I mean, it's something I could start researching now because I mean, I'll probably be on Japanese for another, God only knows how long. But we'll see. You may have already discussed this, but did you? No, I'm going to listen to it tomorrow. I haven't listened to it yet. But I'm going to listen to it tomorrow for sure while I'm at work. Come on, man. There's got to be. I wonder if the people that work here are. There's a place near me called Wolf Creek Indian Village, but I don't know. I don't think it's a legitimate... Whoa. Reenactors and living history interpreters. Oh, okay, no, it's just reenactors. It's not. I don't think it's actual. And it even says that they don't even know what like tribes live there. It said it's either Cherokee or Sioux. Let's see, VA. Oh, that was stupid. Let's go by state. Here we go. Nevada. Up. Here we go. Virginia. Where's Virginia? Here we go. Okay, we'll see where these are. This one is in King William County and Hanover County, so it's farther away from me. And so is that one. Alright, so Virginia is no-go. West Virginia doesn't even have reservations, apparently. North Carolina, Eastern Cherokee Reservation. Where is this at, I wonder? Residing on the Western North Carolina. Location. Where? Oh, here we go. Ooh, that's not super close to me. It's not super far, but it's not super close. Anyway, that got off on a sidetrack. I can figure that out when the time comes. It'll still be a while. But yeah, all right, cool. If anybody doesn't have anything else, I'm going to wrap this up here because I'm going to go do some reading and go to bed. But man, it was awesome sitting and chatting with everybody. I just got on my Discord server. Sorry I didn't mention Serbian. I'll mention Serbian now if you're still watching this live. Oh man, that's funny. But yeah, thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for joining in. It was cool just getting on here and chatting for a little bit. Next time I'm going to try to watch that Crashing interview with Matt. Maybe we can chat about that because I am going to try to stream again soon. I'm not sure exactly when, but hope you do another one soon. Yeah, because I want to chat some more. I know Wednesday nights I watch wrestling. Thursday night I've got a chat with Eric from Link. We're getting some stuff set up, and then so maybe Friday I have a Friday and Saturday. There's wrestling. ICW is running two wrestling shows. They're running a show Friday night and Saturday night, which I will watch on the internet. Gotta always support my dude Danny. Yeah, I don't know, but I'll be back on soon though, and then keep grinding away. So, but yeah, enjoyed. And when's the next interview? I'm going to be interviewing Abigail from Polyglot Progress. Soon. Maybe within the next few weeks. Thank you. Keep active with your readings. Oh, absolutely. 100%. So, all right, cool. All right, I'm going to end the stream. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video or stream, whichever's next. So, see you all later.